Globalization refers to a set of changes rather than a single change. Many of these changes are social, cultural and political rather than purely economic, and one of the main drivers in addition to the global marketplace is the communication revolution. We've spent a lot of money over the last 70 years on flood control, and it's protected millions of people and has saved us billions of dollars. We've built dams to hold back the waters. We've built levees to keep the water off the people, and we've raised the ones that were originally started in 1718. We can see from the X-rays that at an early stage of painting, a window was painted at the left of the portrait. It seems that there may have been two windows in the initial design for the portrait or that the window was moved at an early stage. The role of women in promoting voluntary medical male circumcision uptake. Research reveals the important role played by women in influencing men to undergo circumcision. Women are also motivated to convince men to undergo male circumcision because of the benefits associated with them, such as reduction of HIV transmission and cervical cancer. The central idea of this book concerns our blindness with respect to randomness, particularly the large deviations. Why do we scientists or non-scientists, hotshots or regular Joes, tend to see the pennies instead of the dollars? Why do we keep focusing on the minutiae, not the possible significant large events, in spite of the obvious evidence of their huge influence? Psychology is the study of cognitions, emotions, and behavior. Psychologists are involved in a variety of tasks. Many spend their careers designing and performing research to understand how people behave in specific situations, how and why we think the way we do, and how emotions develop and what impact they have on our interactions with others. Political scholars had historically recognized the social love of the mass media. The impact of the mass media on the election and governing process has greatly increased over the last 50 years. Tomorrow, the mass media will become the central nervous system for your society and the major source of public information. Compiling a bibliography can present a major challenge for some students. Compiling a bibliography can present a major challenge for some students. Please make sure you use the standard form of quotation. Please make sure you use the standard form of quotation. Living in the 21st century is increasingly stressful. Living in the 21st century is increasingly stressful. By logging in, you agree to all terms and conditions regarding your enrollment. By logging in, you agree to all terms and conditions regarding your enrollment. We weren't able to agree on the appropriate independent variables. We weren't able to agree on the appropriate independent variables. Please read the article that was given out yesterday. Please read the article that was given out yesterday. The chemistry building is located near the entrance of the campus. The chemistry building is located near the entrance of the campus. Unfortunately, she didn't have enough money to buy the car she wanted. Unfortunately, she didn't have enough money to buy the car she wanted. Some claim that chocolate can reduce your chance of a heart attack. Some claim that chocolate can reduce your chance of a heart attack. Almost all of the students want to acquire the academic award. Almost all of the students want to acquire the academic award. A letter was sent out to inform clients about the change in service prices. A letter was sent out to inform clients about the change in service prices. A hypothesis is the first step before an idea becomes a theory. A hypothesis is the first step before an idea becomes a theory. So, when we talk about the polar regions, just to clarify exactly what we mean. And we have first of all the Arctic at the top of the Earth and the Antarctic at the bottom, and so the Arctic was named after the Greek word for bear. Now surprisingly it's not after the polar bears that live in the Antarctic or live in the Arctic, and based on it's after the Little and Great Bear constellations that can be seen in the sky. Now the Greek also hypothesized that there would be the Antarctic, which is how we get the name Antarctica, and of course it wasn't discovered until much later on. Now these regions are opposite in many ways other than just their names and their location on the globe, and so if we look at the Arctic first of all, and the Arctic is actually ocean surrounded by land. And so you can see here this is the UK down here and this kind of Russia and then American Canada around here, and so there is a bit of land cover in our ice on the top in the Arctic, which is Greenland here, and may see all this area here. Surprisingly, a lot of people don't realize that this isn't actually land. The North Pole isn't on land. It's just one big ocean. I'm a dietitian and I work in clinical weight loss recently. Accurately estimating portion size is critical in research or real-world settings. For example, if you're trying to watch your weight and you're out to dinner and you're presented with a bowl of food, there's no really good way to actually estimate how much you're eating unless you're gonna whip some scales out of your bag. So we wanted to find a more objective way for people to quantify what they're eating when they're out and about. I came up with a more hands-on approach. We got people to measure the dimensions of the food using the width of their fingers and remembering back to primary school maths. We used the geometric volume formulas to estimate the weight of the food. To show you how this works, I've ordered a piece of lasagna. And that's my box, a glass of wine, and that's my cylinder. And I'm feeling pretty healthy, so I order some watermelon for dessert. And that's my wedge. So this was, I know it's 7 by 5, by 4 fingers. What is the opposite of the minus sign? What is the food that is used in a recipe? What is the generic term for gold, silver, and copper? How many years are there in 2 decades?